It's the home buyer's dream. You find a great house and manage to nab it at an even better price. But is bagging a bargain still possible when everyone in the property market, from vendors to buyers, is now so savvy? Buyers agents negotiate the best deals for their clients for a living. And to give us her tips, we're joined by Jacque Parker, Director of House Search Australia and Deputy Chairperson of the REI NSW Buyers Agent Chapter. Whoa.
It's quite a mouthful, isn't it? Good morning, ladies.
Good to see you again.
Thank you, likewise.
I guess first question, is it still possible to bag a bargain? Because everyone now is so knowledgeable about the market.
Look, Bridie, they are knowledgeable, and knowledge may be power, as the saying goes, but it's putting it into action. That's what counts. We've got so much information out there, but it's actually taking that next step and getting into the market, being in the market, being active in the market, to be in the right place at the right time.
That's always been such, really, hasn't it? Being in the right place at the right time. But there's more to it. We have to almost define what a bargain is. A bargain is really getting more than you thought you would get, or you hope to get. So it's a matter of trying to find those extra bits, which is more than just finding the best price.
That's absolutely right, Prue. And getting the right price is paramount to getting a bargain as such. But bargain can have different meanings to different people. So, for example, we've had clients in the past that are looking for that once in a lifetime or once in a decade opportunity in a very tightly held suburb on the water, and they don't come up very often. So when they do, is price all that counts? That's the question that you've got to ask yourself. If it's really a home that people have been pining for a decade and it suddenly comes up for sale, they may not worry about that extra, $100,000 that they may have to pay to secure it. So it's not always about the price. Other things are important in the situation of getting a bargain as well. A settlement period may be more important to some people. Inclusions, extras that people throw in. For example, we had a client who actually sold a property, and they saw a property that they loved. They wanted to move in right away. The vendor didn't necessarily want that settlement period, but with a little extra money, they came to the party and we settled in 4 weeks. So it was worth their while to actually do that, and to that constituted a bargain.
I guess too, as you say, it always comes down to the quality of the property. As an investment as well, you've got to consider all those things like location,
yield,
everything.
Absolutely. And investors are a lot more black and white when it comes to what they will pay for a property, whereas homeowners are a little bit more subjective. If they really want something, they're willing to pay a little bit more, whereas investors are looking at parameters around the property that mean they will get it for a certain price, or they won't get it for a certain price, and they'll move on. You've got to get used to a lot of rejection as an investor.
I don't know if that works for the vendor or the buyer, but do you think it's worthwhile? For many properties we've seen with their amazing electronic inclusions, which includes the dreaded cinema. Every house seems to have, well, not every house, but every house have cinemas.
Yes, home cinema.
If you can add the inclusion or offer that as an extra incentive to someone who's sort of hovering around, come back the second section, can you say, and we'll throw in the projector?
Absolutely.
Or can you say, I'll buy it if you put in the projector and the screen?
Absolutely.
That's a sort of extra.
Yes, we've done that a lot with clients actually. We've asked for inclusions like furniture. Sometimes it's not so obvious when you inspect a property what is included or what isn't included. Sometimes the front page of the contract will have inclusions that you weren't expecting. Other times there'll be things missing. Pool equipment is a really interesting one, because on the front page of a contract it'll just say pool equipment, but we've seen cases where people have actually swapped over the automatic cleaner for a cheaper one in order to take the more expensive one with them when they leave home. So you've got to look at all of those details, because
what a monetary figure.
Absolutely, Prue, and they can add up to tens of thousands of dollars. An acreage property, for example, you can ask for things to be left like the ride-on mower, and they could be worth up to $20,000 in some cases. So it can make a difference. Absolutely.
So important to, obviously, so we've established what constitutes a bargain. Okay, so how do you nab it? What are your top tips then for negotiating? Do you start off with the lowest price just to kind of get the ball rolling and then have room to move up?
Look, every property is different, and every vendor and agent situation is different. So in a really high demand situation where you've got a low supply and a lot of buyers hanging around, it's useless to lowball, because the agents will ignore you after a while. If you want to be a serious buyer in the market, you've got to make sure that you're committed. that you're ready to go. You've got your finances lined up. You've got your conveyancer or solicitor on standby. You're flexible with terms. You've also got to know the market. You've got to become a local expert. And get off the chair, what I call armchair experts, get off the computer and go out there and physically look at properties, monitor them, track them and become a local expert so that when a property does come up for sale and it's got a great price on it, or it's an out of area agent, or it's got poor photos, or there's no price guide on it, they're the properties that you want to pursue and not ignore, because sometimes they can be the bargains. If you can identify those properties and move quickly to secure them, you're in a much better position to get something for a lower price.
Is it important then to get a valuer involved early in your search? Or
it can be, Prue, only if they come up with a figure that you're willing to pay. If it's above, then we toss the valuation. Look, an independent valuer, and I think it's important to note that valuation, it's not an exact science. You know, two houses are not like, you know, two shirts in Myers where, you know, you can basically say, okay, that one's discounted and that one's not. Property is very subjective too, and even real estate agents get it wrong. You know, you'll look at a price card that says $1 million and then it goes for auction for 1.2, 1.3. Now, they're the experts in their field. They're in the market all the time, and if they can't get it right all of the time, then it makes it hard for buyers as well. So valuations can assist, but at the end of the day, if a buyer is willing to pay a figure for it and the bank is willing to lend them the funds, then sometimes you don't need to get a valuer involved.
With those, you know, ways of sort of trying to get the best deal, I mean, so when, okay, so you say don't put in a lowball offer, put in a reasonable offer, but allow yourself room to move up. And what, I mean, does it help too to kind of say that, you know, oh, well, you know, I've got comparable statistics?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Have research, I guess, to back up your...
Look, the best offers are put forward with a justification email or letter, and we do that for our clients. That's why clients hire us, part of the reason. It's like going to court and putting your case forward. You know, even if you don't win, at least you've got to support your argument. And a good justification email to the agent with your offer will do that. So list the comparable sales, you know, point out the state of the market, support.
The house needs a new kitchen.
Exactly. You know, we noticed that the pool lining, you know, is due for, you know, renewal, and this is going to cost X. We noticed that the house next door had slippish issues, and so yours is likely to too. Yes, point out the defects. Don't totally discredit the property because you'll offend the vendor. So put in some positives as well. But if you really believe that a property is only worth this and you can justify it, sometimes it can actually also assist the selling agent, because they may have an unrealistic vendor who they've been trying to condition down. You know, if the property's been on the market for, you know, 3 months with 3 different agents, you know that if the price has not moved at all, the vendor is usually unrealistic, so you could be doing them a favour.
As we all know, it's hard to ask sad questions, but deceased estates, divorced estates, so to speak, are they the ones that you can, as a buyer, go, ooh, I might be able to get in here because they'll be desperate?
Look,
I mean, it's awful to say.
It is, yes. Mortgagee in possession, yes. And look, you know, it's a sad fact that people do get in trouble. Sometimes, however, the smart selling agents will actually use that as a marketing tool to generate even more interest in a property. I mean, you know, people see the words deceased estate and they think, oh, I'm going to get a bargain. And then you might turn up at the auction and there's, you know, 16 bidders, all hoping for the same thing. And then, you know, the auction is exactly where the agent wants it and the price is driven up. But other times, yes, it can be advantageous. We've been to several mortgagee in possession auctions for clients, and we've got some great bargains because we were the only bidder. One that we went to in the Northern Beaches, we were the only bidder, and the bank was there with their representatives, and we ended up getting it for a price well below the reserve because it had to be sold. But you have to be there.
Every bidder's dream.
Yes.
I was the only one there, and I was the only bid, and I got it.
Yes.
Fantastic. Great advice.
Yeah. So what are your sort of top tips then for getting out and finding those? And
you have, as I said, you have to be active in the market daily, not just, you know, once every week looking at the listings and ticking them off. You need to be in constant contact with agents, and that's really important. In our business, we actually call at least 3 agents per client per day. And I would suggest if you're going to conduct a search yourself, you get on the phone, you knock on the door, you stay in constant contact. That really, really helps.
Pay attention.
You're not going to know about something unless it's on the market.
Great point. Look, thank you so much, Jacque.
My
I really
pleasure.
appreciate it. Great to talk to you. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we're going to preview our first auction of the day in Adelaide, and we'll be heading to the HIA Melbourne Home Show. Stay with us.